We have Sean Russell on the line. Sean, can you hear me now, Sean?
I can.
How are you doing? Okay, Sean, so first of all, a huge congratulations to yourself and to Russell Landscaping for picking up the overall winner's prize there for the design and build at the ALCI Awards, which were held in Belfast recently. And they're often known as the Oscars of the landscaping industry, so they're a very, very coveted prize indeed. First of all, maybe you might just tell us a little bit about, I suppose, how you're nominated and how you received the prize and what was it for?
Yeah, thanks, Tara. So the ALCI is the Association of Landscape Contractors of Ireland. It's the professional body that recognises professional landscape architects in Ireland across the whole country, and it also covers the northern section as well, but they have a separate section for their awards up there as well. But I won the overall design and build award. So basically I designed a private garden for a client down in Garrettstown near Kinsale, and I was awarded Best Design and Build Private Landscape Project across Ireland, and I also won my category. I won the winner of the 50 to 100,000 euro category for private gardens in Ireland. So it's my first year as a member of the ALCI. I only joined last year. It was my first entry, and I won the category and the overall design and build award. So.
Okay, well done indeed. So just the garden in question in Garrettstown, Sean, what was special about your design? What were the judges looking for, I suppose? I suppose first of all, you have to be shortlisted. You have to enter your project, and then they have to come and visit, and they'll tell you then a few weeks later whether you're shortlisted or not, whether it's up to standard. And the project in question was a new build. It started construction, I suppose, from a greenfield about 2 years ago, and it's overlooking the Atlantic Ocean, and off to the left you can kind of see the old head of Kinsale, the head sticking out off to the left. So the site itself was a big bonus, and I suppose the brief from the owners, I suppose, when I first met them, they wanted to keep it simple. They didn't want a complicated design. They wanted something, I suppose, functional and something easy maintainable, and to look at. You could take it all in kind of one look, and not to overcomplicate the design. And I suppose from that then I worked. You always have to work from basically what you're given. So you have to work with all your existing entrances and exits from the house, from the garage that's adjacent to the building. You have to work with your entrance points. So they're the first things you have to work from, and then from that then you build your circulation, pedestrian circulation and vehicular circulation, and connect everything together and try to omit desire lines. So basically the desire line is where someone will naturally take the shortest route to get from A to B. So you try to omit those, and you can design those out basically by implementing kind of obstacles such as walls and trees and various planting and stuff. So if someone sees an obstacle in the way, they could go over it, but mentally they'll just avoid it, so they'll go around it. So these are kind of the basic design elements that I look out for, and basically try to eliminate fuss and clutter within a design. So I try to eliminate railings and keep everything down to a minimum, and just simple design. But sometimes simple takes a lot of effort and detail. So simpler a job looks or design, the more effort it goes into executing that design correctly on site. And then from that, then I work closely with the builders. So the builder did all the structural work, all the walls, and got all the groundwork ready. And then I came along and done the paving work. And from that, then I done all the planting, and I was on site every day. So I suppose that's one of the main reasons why we had the attention to detail that the judges were looking for. And basically, when the judges came out then, it was July or August time, and the place was blooming. And what they liked about the design was the attention to detail, the high level of workmanship, and the how the work, basically the paving looked and the planting looked, and the challenging site as well. I suppose it was a very exposed site, on looking the Atlantic Ocean, very open, on the brow of a hill, and they were very impressed with my choice of planting and how well the planting that I choose is after standing up to the elements. I had everything planted 2 weeks before Storm Ophelia hit, and then the snowstorm came along then, and then I suppose they arrived on maybe 5 or 6 months later, and the place was thriving. So I think that's what impressed him as well, how the site itself looked in such a challenging location. And that's about it, I think.
Okay, well, fantastic, and well done again. So when you're looking at, say, again, like a new build or even a garden that needs to be revamped, I suppose, how do you look at it differently? Or do you walk around the site and come up with a vision, or do you have to, I suppose, talk to the house owner or the client and come up with a vision together? Or, I mean, what would you bring to the creative process, I suppose? And is it a case of going off and behind the computer and certain formulas that you follow, or is this kind of more of a visual thing, and you get an idea, you get inspiration from what you see in the surroundings and even the location of the house?
Yeah, so it all depends on the location and the aspect of the site and where the site is located. So if it's located into a kind of an old part of the town where there's existing kind of old features or old walls, or I try to kind of incorporate my design to kind of suit that particular location, so that whatever I do doesn't really stick out and stand out like a sore thumb. So basically, if it's, I prefer to work with a site survey. So it's either usually done by a surveyor. So he'd come along with his surveying equipment, and he'd survey every point down to the last details. He'll pick up curb lines and manholes and gullies and anywhere the gradients and spot levels where the doors of the houses are, the houses or the whatever, if it's a commercial building, where the windows are located. So then he'll send that to me then electronically via AutoCAD, which is a computer-aided design package. Then I'll come along and open that in my computer, and I'll have the plan then. I'll be looking straight down on the plan of the site. So when I have the plan then, I can meet the client on site and usually just try to nitpick the client's brain, basically, and just try to listen to them maybe for, I suppose, usually for about 20 minutes, and leave them do the talking first and kind of get an idea for what they like. And I always like to hear what they had in mind or what they were thinking, and then I suppose from that I'd be fairly critical. I don't kind of hold back. I suppose I've no need to hold back, because I just know from when I was younger, if I was, when I was before I went to college and studied, and like I always had an interest in gardening, but from college you learn an awful lot, and I suppose one of the most important things that I learned was to keep things simple. So I always try to pull back on people's thoughts, and they might have visions of maybe putting something over in one part of the property and something over there, and kind of just pointing at things. But I usually try to basically to tell them not to think that way. That look at it from a plan point of view and try to have flow within the whole design, so that you just don't have kind of things dotted around the place. What I try to incorporate is more flow and interest, so that you're kind of drawn through a space naturally, rather than kind of being forced over to space. So and if try to maybe utilize all parts of a site, so that
no part is, or the site is kind of a dead space. So I try to limit dead spaces in a site by introducing different flows and kind of encouraging people to walk from one point of a site to another, and that's basically by sitting down and maybe pondering over a design for maybe could be a half a day, just kind of sketching up different ideas and lines and curves, and then eventually you kind of work everything together, and before you know it, then you'll kind of hit the nail on the head, and the whole thing will make sense, and it'll be more functional rather than it'll be functional, and it'll be aesthetically pleasing. So I think sometimes you'd see a lot of designs, but they look good and they look aesthetically pleasing, but they can lack functionality, which is very important in a design. If something kind of looks good by just looking out at it, that doesn't mean you're going to be able to enjoy the space or use the space to its full capacity. So you have to kind of think of a lot of different elements, and also with planting as well. Some people might have a liking to certain types of plants, or even just certain colours. They mightn't like colours, but you have to think then about not just how a plant, the colour of a plant. You also have to think how a plant behaves and what time of the year it comes out in flower and in leaf, and does it tolerate salty, exposed conditions, or can it tolerate shade? You can't just think about one aspect, like which might be just colour. So when I hear someone saying they don't like blues, or they just like mauves or pinks or whatever, you kind of have to encourage them to use other plants, because there's a lot of plants that I would definitely not use in sites for particular reasons, because they might sucker under the ground, and you might, like bamboo for instance. Bamboo is a notorious plant for suckering, and you could plant it in one part of the garden, and 2 years later it could be coming up through your hedges, and it becomes a pest in your garden. You can't get it out. So there's lots of different design thoughts and strategies that you have to put into your design. It's not just as simple as it seems. But the simpler a garden looks, the more thought that goes into it, basically.
I often look at say Dermot Bannon and these kind of architecture-based programs on TV. Sean, you're probably the Dermot Bannon of landscaping right now, but he'd often say he'd meet people, just in passing, and saying that, if I ever win the lotto, I'll hire an architect, or I'll hire you. And he's always kind of at pains to point out it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be cost prohibitive. That a good architect and a good architecturally designed house should be something that people should think about. Would the same apply to landscaping and to gardening? Should people think about maybe getting in a professional to help design their garden? Does that add value to the house? And I mean, how important is it to maybe get a bit of professional advice from somebody like Russell Landscaping?
I suppose it depends on the space and the level of detail you want to go into. So I'm doing a house here now in Youghal at the moment. It's a new build, fairly big house, but every part of the site has been used. It's on the back of the house. There's a sloping element to it, so we broke it up into different levels. But the detail that's gone into this place, for instance, is high level. A lot of structural work. Anywhere there's structural work, you're talking a lot of money, because you have to get in machines and a lot of concrete and digging out and foundations, all that kind of detail. But if someone is looking for something more simpler, and you kind of have to work to someone's budget and kind of just scale it down, scale it back, and maybe eliminate as much of the structural aspect of it as you can, and try to keep it more kind of, I suppose, two-dimensional rather than three-dimensional. Keep it, the flatter the site is, the less it's going to cost to address certain needs, I suppose, of a client or the site itself.
So.
No, Sean, I've seen you guys are working in the house in question actually, and I suppose one of the things that caused most excitement was the cranes that were delivering, I suppose, large trees, not trees that were, I suppose, semi-grown or maybe that much more mature than you would see normally in a new build. People have been discussing, I mean, it was the cost of that and versus, I suppose, the benefit of it. How and again, you often see this in gardening programs and TV. How beneficial is it to get maybe almost fully grown trees into a garden? Does it save time and money in the long run? And you obviously have the benefit of having a ready-made garden without waiting years and years for trees to mature.
Well, I suppose it's not getting immature shrubs and trees. I know, like the particular plants that I got for this job. They came from Italy, so there was a full articulated lorry of plants came from Italy. So we decided to rather than getting in more machinery to try and get them into the places, the final resting places where they were going. We found it very difficult because a lot of them were going up into different, maybe above a 2 metre retaining wall, and behind that retaining wall there's another, say, 600 mil retaining wall. So we couldn't get machines up there. So I suppose the way of getting it would have been getting as many lads in as possible and trying to drag them up, but that would only damage the plants and wouldn't be very professional. So the cheapest way of getting them in the end was basically hiring out 120-ton crane for the day, and we got them all in. It was just basically myself and the man inside in the crane operating the machine, and I was on one end of the walkie-talkie, and he was inside communicating. So basically, he was able to pop the trees into the holes that we'd pre-dug, and the whole lot was done in a day. So when you have a job at that scale, and you're after investing a lot of money into it already, that kind of a cost outweighs what different alternatives, rather than getting in men for maybe a week or 2 weeks to plant all these trees. So by getting in a crane, it actually was a lot more economically beneficial to plant them. If you added up all the costs of doing it a different way, So, but come back to your kind of original point. How do mature trees benefit? I suppose we only live to a certain age, I suppose. So if you're looking for kind of a wow factor, putting in mature trees, you'll have it instant. You won't be having to wait around. And the trees are kind of already pruned and formed in the nursery, and they've been cared for many years. So for us to get the trees the way I got them, you'll be waiting maybe 20, 30 years to get them to the size. But you probably would never look after them for that length of time the way they were looked after in a nursery. So they might never really look as good as I've got them to look, from an instant point of view. I know they do cost a lot of money, but from a point of view of what the client is going to get, the value of the property has probably skyrocketed. So if they wanted to, if they decided they wanted to sell in the morning, which I'm sure they're not going to, or probably will never sell, but it's definitely after increasing an awful lot of value to the property, and a lot more than what what it was worth, I suppose. So I think from that point of view, yes.
Investment well made. Sean, I remember speaking to you, it was back in 2010, 2011, when you're basically pitching the idea of a new business to a group or during a seminar down in Cumnadina. So I mean, it's been a rapid rise for you as well. And I know we spoke at the time, and it was like a dream for you, and a kind of an ideal job. So how proud are you at the moment of what you've achieved, and what the last 7 or 8 years been like in terms of building up the business and getting to where you are today?
Yeah, it's I suppose
landscaping and landscape design and landscape architecture I suppose it's my job, but it's also something I love and I enjoy. I'm not just doing it for because just for a day-to-day job. I love what I do. So at the time I had finished up in Dublin. I was working in Dublin for 4.5 years for the company who procures the Lewis lines and Metro North and Metro West. And I took voluntary redundancy, came back, done that course, that Start Your Own Business course that you're talking about. And from then I went on to Fota Resort and was kind of looking after the horticultural aspect of looking after the beds and the hedging and doing a bit of groundworks as well. And so I was mainly looking after planting, and it was the time of the Irish Open as well. The Irish Open was on Fota Resort, and I was kind of in charge of how all the beds and flowers and everything looked. So I suppose that was a good place to be as well. It was a fairly prestigious place to work as well. But from then, I suppose during that time as well, it was we were going through the downturn in the economy. But I was always itching to kind of get back out there and work for myself again. And I took the plunge then. Had one or two jobs lined up, design jobs and a few small kind of paving jobs and softscaping, landscaping, planting jobs. And I suppose as things went on, people got to know more of me, especially in Cork City and surrounds and Kinsale and places. Got more customer base. And then I decided to join the Association of Landscape Contractors of Ireland, and I knew I had a very good project to enter. I had a few more jobs, but I wanted to kind of concentrate on the one job and try and give that my best go, and put together a presentation pack and got professional photographs taken and filled out the forms, and I got two awards. So I was the winner of 2 awards on the night, and it was held in the Titanic in Belfast, which adds to its prestige, I suppose. And I suppose it's just going from one good thing to the next. So I don't know. Now I'll have to think of something else.
Yeah, you have to raising the bar now. Okay, well, we're bang out of time, Sean. So again, huge congratulations and well done, and continued success to the business. And if people want to see more of your work or find out more about what you do or what service you can offer, do you have a website or a Facebook page you can direct them to?
Yeah, I'm fairly active on Facebook. Russell Landscaping is my page, and I have a website as well. It's www.russelllandscaping.ie, and I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on a few more social
media platforms. We just have a text in there from Kay Donnelly, or she rang in actually, Kay, and she sends her congratulations to Sean. So that's one of our listeners there, Kay Donnelly. Sean, I suppose I'll run the congratulations team. The Big Brother had a fairly good weekend last weekend. Anything you want to say on behalf of the Russell family?
Yeah, no, I suppose we're all very proud of David and what he's achieved. Well, he got a very high pressure job, and he went and produced the goods last Saturday over in Aintree and won the Grand National for 2 years in a row. His a long lifetime ambition was to win the Grand National, and as any jockey would tell you, that the Grand National is what they all strive to win. And David, when he was 38, he won he got the pinnacle. He got the winner of the Grand National, and he came back and he done it again last Saturday on the same horse. So he's after going down the records now in the history books. And also his son Finn and my sister Eileen rang Gordon Elliott today. And I think they're after getting to go ahead to get Tiger Roll down to y'all next Friday week. So that's going to be a big day for y'all.
Absolutely. And I spoke to Eileen actually a bit earlier on, and the plans are certainly afoot for a big day on Good Friday, but we'll have more of those details as soon as they emerge. But sure, I suppose if you keep going the way you're going, it'll be the other way around. They'll be asking Dave Russell's brother.
They'll be asking how's your brother getting on? Slower, so bring back a gold medal or something like that.
Brilliant stuff, yeah. Well,
goal.
Absolutely great stuff. So well done, and again from all of us here in CRY, Sean, well deserved, and the Russell Landscaping go from strength to strength. So enjoy the success, and sure we might speak to you again next year when you've won this again for the second time.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah.
Take care.
Well, thank you. Bye bye.
Sean Russell there, of course, from the famous Russell family. They're winning all sorts of awards at the moment, and doing really great, and doing the town proud. Sean, winner of the Design and Build Award at the recent prestigious Association of Landscape Contractors Awards, which were held in Belfast, and so well done there to Sean for being the overall winner.